welcome you and want to ask you to drop in the comment box where you're live streaming in from. We have so many people joining us from Dallas and I believe California and New Jersey. So just wanted to welcome you and ask you to drop in the comment box where you're from. And I hope you have your nice warm cup of coffee as I do. Today, we're going to be discussing the roadmap for a successful remodel. And it breaks my heart every time I see clients stumbling through or homeowners stumbling through the renovation process just because it's overwhelming. There's just so much coming at them all at once. And it's so hard to kind of learn on the fly and address things as they go. And one of my jobs as a designer is to kind of manage that anxiety on the behalf of the homeowner to make sure that, everything is running smoothly. And I just, it kind of, and one of the reasons why I decided to do this is because of that, one, to reduce the anxiety on the homeowner, to empower them to be able to make better decisions, smarter decisions with less stress, and help my alleviate some of my time and dedicate it to actually doing the work on the project instead of kind of hand holding and educating the clients. And so basically I think it's a win-win, and that's one of the reasons why I've chosen to do this. And so what we're going to do is talk about the map, the process, and I'm going to show you exactly how the steps and the tools and the strategies that you would need to go from not having anything figured out to creating your own map, to having everything piece of all the building blocks figured out. And then if you decide you need more help, you can let me know what you need to know more, and maybe we can do another webinar in the future, or we can work one-on-one to figure the rest of it out. But basically today I want to cover the different design styles. This is going to help you guys communicate with your design team and contractors to be able to articulate your needs and what you want. I'm also gonna share with you my lifestyle analysis tool. So a lot of people don't know this, but you kind of just, you need a place to live, and you just look at a couple of houses and what fits your budget, and you kind of just try to, like how Cinderella tries to, um, put her shoe in the glass slipper. Your lifestyle and the house need to match. And so a lot of times people are just kind of stumbling through their house, or like things aren't exactly flowing functionally in parallel with the way that their daily schedules are running. And so the analysis tool is going to help you really figure out what that is. And that way, when you're planning in the future, you'll know more clearly what to look for, especially if you're doing a new build. Then we're going to go into a really, really fun process called Vision Board. Some of you are maybe familiar with it, some of you may not. But if you're not, a quick overview is just basically trying to find photos that best represent what you like and what you need, and creating a collage of it. And all of these tools are going to be available for you for free. I'll drop them in the comment box, as well as send all the links out to you later so you can, enjoy the process and stress free, and begin really dreaming about your future and what it's going to look like. Then we're going to cover the basics of budgeting and how like the numbers work. There's so much ambiguity around construction numbers, and so I don't want to go into too much detail because it's really overwhelming. But I want to give you an overview of how the numbers are generated to give you some sort of clarity. Because it is a complicated process, it's really hard to answer that question, how much does it cost? Because there's just so many elements, and I'll show you. We'll take a small dive into that, and then I want to cover creative ways on how to fund your renovation. I know that this originally wasn't on the schedule, but I thought it would be a great way to not only talk about dreaming and vision board and what you want, but really how to achieve it. So we'll touch a little bit on that, and I have a couple of extra gifts for you. So why don't we just dig in and get started? For those of you who have joined us, I would love to hear what you have to say. Earlier, I had asked for everyone to drop in the comment box where you're from. Most people should be from Dallas, Texas, but I know that there are some people joining us from out of Texas. So welcome once again. Feel free to ask me any questions throughout the webinar. I'm happy to make myself available and answer them as best as I can. So, the first thing on the agenda is basically the map. So, when you engage into a project, the first thing people do is call a contractor, and they really haven't thought through much, maybe some, maybe little, and then they ask the contractor, how much is all this going to cost? And it's really hard for the contractor to price something completely and correctly when the information is partial. And so, what a contractor really wants and needs is a set of floor plans and a list of materials. And that's going to give them a clear instructional manual of what needs to be done, and this applies for both renovation and for new construction. So the end goal is to come up with a design, have that translated into floor plans, and then select all the materials that you would want to use, including the interior as well as the exterior, depending on the scope of the work. Some remodels only require a full gut on the inside and they don't touch the outside. But if you need to, do some work on the outside, then definitely need to consider what happens on the outside as well. So that's the goal, right? To get a design, a set of floor plans, and a list of materials. That's the map. So how do we get? What are the details of how to come up with the design that fits your lifestyle that you love? And how do you get the plans and how do you select the materials? So that's what we're going to talk about next. So first, I wanted to show you, I'm going to share my screen with you. So there are many different styles. Some people like farmhouse, new American, country, modern farmhouse is really popular right now in Dallas. Craftsman, contemporary, modern. Modern and contemporary are also very popular here in Dallas. A lot of what you see in the suburbs are traditional, Cape Cod beach house. So you want to kind of familiarize yourself with the different styles, and you're not tied to any of these because if you type in architectural design styles or home styles, you're going to see many, many different options. Spanish is very popular here as well, Tuscan and Victorian. And so, if you looked at a different website, they would show you different options as well. So you want to begin to take a look at these and figure out, okay, which one resonates with you, which one um, which one are you most drawn to? And so this is more of a visual thing, right? Not necessarily functional. The functional stuff gets comes into play when we start talking about the floor plans. And so if you just Google architectural design styles or plans, then you'll be able to, pull this up easily. This will come in the email that I'll send you guys. All of these links that I'm going to share with you will come in an automated generated email once this webinar is over. So don't feel like you need to take notes frantically. Just relax, have a sip of coffee, and you know, we'll get you to where you need to go. So this I would say is the first step. And once you kind of narrow it down, when you're interviewing designers or contractors, you want to make sure that the work that they've completed in their portfolio is similar to what you're wanting. And why that's important is because, for example, I like to design more modern, contemporary homes, and so those elements that you need to used to build it are sourced from different manufacturers. And so, because that's what I like to design and build, I'm more familiar with those manufacturers and those products. And it's easier for me to assemble and put the house together. versus, like a Gothic revival. There's very few craftsmen in the United States who can actually supply and make those. It's almost rare to see something like that. You would have to do something, um, find a good, blacksmiths or window stain kind of person, with that kind of talent craftsman that we rarely get to see here in the States in 2020. But my point is that whatever style that you like, you want to make sure that you see some sort of similarity within the portfolio of work of uh, who you're interviewing for to be on your design team. So that's that. The next one is one of my favorites because this is where you really get to dream, and it's actually a really fun date night couples kind of thing to do because you get to plan your future, and you get to really sit down and think about how you want to live your life moving forward instead of just the same old. And so it's very very detailed. You can What I would recommend is to just sit down with a glass of wine or make it fun, do a picnic or something like that, and just go through the questions and ask each other, what do I want? And let me show you this tool actually, while we're here. So this is a lifestyle analysis tool. This link will be provided, and what you will need to do is go to File and make a copy for yourself, and then you can edit it as you need. And so basically, it's going to ask you some very detailed questions, and we'll just take an example. Let me scroll down to. Let's just go down the kitchen because it's very popular. So it'll ask you, do you prefer that your kitchen is hidden, fully partial, connected to the living area or not? And so you can begin to see how these questions get your brain going, getting you thinking about how you would want to move throughout your space, how you wanted the kitchen and living room to connect or not connect. Would you want a separate kitchen for, if you're a baker or if you're a chef, or some people have kosher kitchens or a baking studio. So just beginning to think about how would you want your spaces to lay out and the relationships with them. And sometimes you'll find out that the other people living in your household disagree, and so it's a perfect opportunity to discuss which way it's going to go. One of the hardest jobs for a designer or a contractor is when husband and wife are not on the same page. We're in a situation where if we do what the mister wants, then we can't make the wife happy. And if we do what the wife wants, then, and so it's kind of hard for us to have a clear direction because there's only one thing we can build, right? One kitchen we can build. And so these questions are really important to help iron those things out beforehand. And so that you guys can talk about it and discuss it and see what works best with your family and lifestyle. And so this tool has so many questions. It goes in depth per every room. And if you wanted to add anything or subtract anything, feel free to do that. Think of these as the building blocks of your design. Just to dabble in this document a little bit more, simple questions like, do you want sun to come in your bedroom in the morning? This helps when me as a designer, when I read this, I'll think of, okay, do we want to do windows, or do we need to do windows with heavy blackout shades? Same thing with the TV. Some people don't want a TV in the bedroom at all, and some people do. And so to be able to accommodate from a spatial standpoint, do we need a media center? Do we need to have wiring in that room for a TV? Things like that. So that's the lifestyle analysis tool. So again, just file, make a copy for yourself, and that way you'll be able to type in, the answers as you need. So there's the lifestyle analysis tool. Thank you, Olga. You're awesome. Thanks for letting me know. All right, the next thing we have on our list is to create a vision board. Okay, so how many of you are familiar with Pinterest? Pinterest is a easy free tool. You can just sign up and begin to find photos and create a collection of photos that help illustrate what you want your space to look like. For example, on this one, these are some photos of a garden. So, and Pinterest is great to help really collect photos that help illustrate what you like. But what I like even better than Pinterest is Houzz, Houzz. This one is also free. And what I like to have clients do is, for example, if we go to this board right here, this is shared, so it'll be me and however many decision makers there are in the house, they can be invited. And if you want to start one of those here, just email me and let me know, or you can create your own account and do it on your own. But basically, they begin to add photos that help them begin to visualize what they like and what they don't like. And I like to have my clients actually write comments of what they like about this photo. Because, see, for example, on this photo right here, there's so many things for us to look at here. We can look at the layout, we can look at the cabinet color, the cabinet door detailing, the countertop. So I'm not really sure what we're looking at, right? And so when the client adds this photo, I like to ask them to add a comment to let me know what they like about the photo. So this one's this kitchen cabinets. And so that helps me understand what how I can better meet the client's needs. As a designer, there's a billion ideas that I can come up with, but none of them really resonate with the homeowner's taste if I just pull something out of the air and prescribe the design. And so what what really will get you the most value in your renovation and your remodel and most bang for your buck is going to be by deciding what works for you, deciding what you like, what you don't like, and really get learning the tools to help you figure out how to communicate that. And so, with the lifestyle analysis tool and this vision board method, it really equips you, empowers you to articulate what your needs are to your design team. And this way, of all those million designs floating around in the world, we are better able to serve you and design something for you that would make your lifestyle more functional for you and more pleasant for you. So Pinterest and Houzz are definitely um, two of my favorites. Awesome, awesome. Can I get some comments in the comment box? Are you guys have any questions so far? I know we're time's flying. We're already almost halfway in. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Any questions on the vision board exercise, the lifestyle analysis tool, and any of the design styles? I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick and take a minute to read some of these. Everyone's good. I'm reading. Okay, we're good. Okay, so the next one is going to be budget and pricing. So, one of the most frustrating things for me, and I'm sure for the homeowner, is just not knowing how much any of this stuff costs. And it's, think of it like when you're going out to buy a car. A car can range from, a used, um, I'm just throwing out numbers. You can buy a car for $10,000. You can buy a car for over six figures, right? And so, but let's just say you're looking at a $30,000-$40,000 Toyota or a Lexus or something like that. And even within that, it's like you really don't know how much it's going to cost because you don't know if you're going to do two wheel or four wheel. You need to make that decision. You need to decide if you want the manual roll up window or the electronic window. So that's, going to be an upcharge. Do you want premium sound or regular sound? So there's all these decisions that you need to make in order for the ultimate price to become available to you. The same thing applies here in construction. And especially without a set of floor plans, it's going to be really hard for the contractor to give you any kind of pricing. And so, what I wanted to kind of address today is in the preliminary budgeting section of this, how you can begin to zero in on what it would cost. So, what I like to go do is either go to Zillow or Redfin. I'm going to share with you my screen again. What I like to do is type in your city location where you're looking for a house. And I like to show houses that were built, and this is for new construction, okay? Um, do 2020. So these are the newest homes, apply filters, and you can begin to see the price per square footage. So, let's just pick, these are some awful houses. Geez. Okay. I can say that because I'm a designer. I have to be picky. So let's just pick this one, right? You can see that this price is $275 a square foot. And so you can begin to use that as your preliminary benchmark. But because I know Dallas market, I know this is a little bit on the high side, but let's just do some quick math here. If you wanted to build something new, then you would just say $275 a square foot times, let's just say you want a 2,000 square foot house. Then you can assume that your budget would need to be this much. For remodels, I like to, I can just say, because from experience, if you take the averages of my projects and the quality of work that I have on my website, the prices range from $175 a square foot to $200 a square foot. But then, these, you get what you pay for, right? And so these are kind of the quality of houses you would get if you're in the 275 price point for new construction. And then if you go on my website, you can get a better idea of what renovated projects look like. Zillow is another place where you can go to do the same exercise that we did, so I'm not going to dive too much into it. I'm going to hop back on to see if there are any more questions. Okay. All right. And then, so I wanted to share with you some bird's eye view of budgeting and pricing. So when you go, the way that the numbers are organized on the labor side, so you want to think about it into two segments, the labor and then the materials. So within the labor, there's, general materials like screws and sheetrock and tools that they need to rent to install everything. So that's the labor. And the labor is organized in what we call these 16 divisions. And so typically when you see a bid, you'll see it outlined like this. This is just to make sure that all the bids that you get, and I usually recommend getting at minimum 3, kind of follow this outline. So the 16 divisions essentially are all the components necessary to build something, and also is a log of the quantities needed, just like you would bake a cake. So you can see, general site improvements, which is in line with general and site. You'll see foundation, masonry, framing. So this is kind of how the labor side is organized. And over here, masonry lines up with masonry. Here's another bid that runs a little similar to the first one, where general is the first line item, which lines up with Division 1. The second one, site improvements. Foundation, which is concrete, lines up as well. Masonry here lines up with masonry. So you begin to see a pattern within the bids. And sometimes you'll see that they don't actually use the words that match up, they'll use the division number. So, like on this one, you'll see they used division 01, and they use the actual number to represent it. And if you scroll down, you'll start seeing 2s for site work, which lines up with Division 2. And so you begin to see how the framework of the numbers begin to come together. And within the framework of the numbers in these categories, there are sub line items that need to be calculated as well. So you can begin to see how difficult it can be to come up with the numbers. And then the materials, which is the second number, is usually finishes. And these are things like the appliances, the tile that you get, the cabinetry and things like that, the plumbing fixtures, cabinet hardware, all that. And so then that gets grouped into a second number. So what I recommend is once you have your set of floor plans and you have your list of materials, then you want to interview at least a couple of contractors, pick 3 that you like the most, and give them the set of plans to bid on. And so once you get that done, then you'll have 3 bid packages that you can compare the numbers with. And with that, they'll be fairly outlined like this, so it'll be easier to compare and contrast them. And then on the other side, you can add your materials, and there's a lot of flexibility in here. This is a sample of the materials because you can see, countertops can cost anywhere from $23 a square foot all the way to $60 a square foot on up. So there's a lot of range and variety in terms of how much this stuff is going to cost. Same thing with backsplash. Some tile some people want to just get something budget friendly, like $5 a square foot, and some people want to go all out and buy a $60 square foot tile. And so the material side is really contingent upon what your quality and taste is like and what we can fit into your budget. I hope that wasn't too overwhelming with the numbers, but basically you can get ballpark numbers by going to Redfin and Zillow or using the standard, 175, 190 per square foot for remodels, and that's for Dallas, Texas. I don't know about what the situation is in other areas in terms of what those averages are. But for people outside of state, you can definitely use the Redfin and Zillow technique to figure out, at least for new construction. Next on our list is how to fund it. So home ownership is one of the most expensive things you'll ever spend money on. And it breaks my heart to see people hiring people who don't really know what they're doing, or trusting people in putting this valuable asset into somebody else's hands. And so, empowering yourself with webinars like this is definitely going to be a step in the right direction to make sure that you're doing everything you can to protect your asset, and making sure, more importantly, that you get the outcome that you want, which is a wonderful home that's functional and works for you and your family's lifestyle. And so if you're going to do it, might as well do it right? And this way, you'll also have a much easier time communicating with your design team and contractor. And so there's a level of the edge is taken off, so you can enjoy it more. It becomes more of a journey and an experience. So, all of this is great, right? We talked about the different architectural home styles. We've talked about the lifestyle analysis tool. We've talked about the vision board, and we've talked about how expensive stuff can be. But one thing that's so important is how do you bring this stuff into reality, right? Like how do you fund this stuff? And right now, this is October in 2020. A lot of people are refinancing their homes to help them fund it. One of the sources that I recommend is to check out for refinancing to help you fund your renovation is Bankrate. You can type in your zip code wherever you are, and it'll give you some options of which banks are giving you what rate. Rates are so good right now. I mean, 2.75, 2.5, that's such a great rate. So if you refinance, then you'll be able to get this lower rate and maybe even pull some equity out of your home, and that equity will be able to fund your remodel. If you can't refinance, or if you recently did and you need a different option, a second option is a home equity. So you can do, HELOC rates. If you click on this, and these links will also be provided. This is an alternative option for you to help, fund it. And really begin to bring all of these ideas to reality. So if you take the number Redfin, we the earlier example that we did was 275 per square foot times 2000, that number was 550. So then you have a base point, right? And then if you talk with your lender and try to figure out, okay, how much equity can I take out or whatever, then you'll have a base number to start with in terms of what is the reality of me being able to fund this. um, and then your design team will have some creative solutions for you as well. So some of the very popular tactics that I like to use to help clients get what they want, how to help homeowners get what they want, uh, is by making a priority list. So most of the time, we like to spend most of the client's budget on areas in the home that they spend most of their time in. So, like kitchen, living room, master bedroom, and then everything else can kind of get, um, like a 3 or 4 star finish, but then the kitchen and master bedroom can get the 5 star look. So that's one of my favorite tips that we like to use. And there it's actually pretty simple. It doesn't take much effort to make a space look nice if you focus on some of the details. For example, a quick fix in your kitchen could be um, getting cabinet hardware and pendant lights over the island that are the same metal color that match. It can have such a great impact. So utilizing the talent of your designer and your contractor can really help um, spark a creative conversation on how to make ends meet if you're struggling with trying to figure out how to get what you want. And remember, there's so many variables too. Remember, I talked about tile costing, sometimes $60 a square foot or $5 a square foot. Well, maybe we can still get you the tile in that area, but we don't have to spend the $60 a square foot. Maybe we find something that's $8 a square foot or $20 a square foot. So there's definitely creative ways to help fund your remodel. Um, the last thing, we have 20 minutes left, so I just wanted to share with you two more things and open it up to Q&A. I wanted to invite you to utilize these tools, take some time over the weekend to really dream uh, and make it fun. Get your family involved and see what their take on it would be and how they would answer some of these questions. Um, what I recommend is that on the lifestyle analysis tool, which was, let me go back to that one. On this one, if you have 3 family members in the house answering these, you guys can all answer it in a different font color and really begin to learn about each other as well. And at the same time, allow your design team to understand your needs better, and give and empower us to serve you better, in a way. So what I wanted to extend and offer to you is if you need help with any of these things, the lifestyle analysis tool, the vision board, I wanted to offer, to help you with that. Um, I want to share with you the next step, the next level. If, let's say you have everything figured out, you have your lifestyle analysis tool figured out and you have your vision board complete. The next step would be to bring those building blocks to a designer and begin to create a sketch of a floor plan of what your space could look like. So, what I wanted to do was share with you a special offer I have today. And it is this. It is a design charrette, and basically, I want to offer it to you for half off. And so, basically, with all of your information that you would provide, I would begin to sketch what your floor plan could look like or what your remodel could look like. And it's a 4 hour fun session where we get to just dream and play. And it's very casual, just sketching it out. And so the link is over here. And if I have your email in the registration, I will be giving you guys half off. So definitely take a look at that and engage with that. And lastly, I wanted to open up the floor for Q&A and what you if there are things that I need to clarify or something that was not explained clearly, what you want to hear more about. I do have some more information that I can provide you guys at a later date. One of them is how to read floor plans, and another one is how to select your contractor and vet them. Um, with with Dallas, Texas, there's a housing shortage, and so our regulations are very slim in terms of who can build. And so oftentimes anyone can show up at your door, a chuck in the truck or somebody experienced, and you don't really know how to vet them. So um, uh, I have a link that I can send you on exactly how to vet them, which I'll eventually turn into a webinar. Um, so basically, the steps on how to vet them. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you at this moment. Otherwise, I can um, send out the links and we can wrap up. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with, and if there's any way I can help, I'd be happy to make myself available. Please let me know if you have any questions at this time. I have one question here. Somebody's asking how they can get the lifestyle analysis tool. I can at the end of this webinar, you guys are everyone who's registered and whose email I have will get a thank you for attending this webinar, and the links will be provided of everything that I showed earlier today. All right. Well, if you guys decide that you have more questions later, I can type in my email address in the chat box here, urbanloopstudio.com. You guys are welcome to message me, and I hope that you guys have a fun and exciting weekend, dreaming up what your dream home could look like, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'll be logging off, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.